As you know, we have been discussing the court cases that gave our LGBTQIA plus siblings basic rights. Not just that, but the court cases that says, hey, let's treat them the way we treat any other human beings because, you know, it's the right thing to do. Yes. We are going to end the week with the first U.S. Supreme Court ruling to deal with LGBTQIA plus individuals and the first to address free speech rights as it relates to our LGBTQIA plus siblings. One Inc. versus Olesen. Now, One Inc. was a spin-off of the Mattachine Society. The Mattachine Society was an early national gay rights organization founded in 1952 in LA with the goal of protecting and improving the rights of gay men. They had branches in other cities and by 1961 had regional groups. Now, in 1953, they published a magazine, One, the homosexual magazine. Now, this is the 1950s, the time of the Red Scare and the Lavender Scare. So, if you were a communist or gay or both, you were hiding and your name was probably on a government watch list somewhere. Yeah. Now, the One magazine was being harassed by every federal agency known out there. The Post Office, the FBI, and, well, the Postmaster General had its sights set. And the Los Angeles Postmaster, he busts out in October 1954 and says that that issue is obscene, lewd, lascivious, and filthy. He used all those adjectives to describe one issue. Yes. Now, because he says all of these things, it can't be mailed out because of the Comstock Act. Now, we discussed the Comstock Act when we discussed contraceptives. Do you remember what the Comstock Act is? It says that no obscene material can be put in the mail. Yeah. Now, what did the postmaster object to? Silly things like a story about a lesbian who leaves her boyfriend for her girlfriend. He objected because it was lustfully stimulating to the average homosexual reader. He objected to a poem about gay cruising because it contained filthy words. And he objected to an advertisement for a magazine containing LGBTQIA romance stories that directed it to another magazine that contained obscene materials. That was what he objected to. I'm straining to see what was objectionable, what was obscene, lewd, lascivious, and filthy. Now, the magazine brought suit seeking an injunction against the postmaster. March 1956, U.S. District Judge Thurman Clark ruled for the postmaster, saying the suggestion advanced that homosexuals should be recognized as a segment of our people and be accorded special privilege as a class is rejected. I don't recall seeing that requested. I think what they were saying is, get this lunatic off our back so we can publish our magazine. That's what I got from my reading, but I could be simple-minded. Okay. Anyway, the magazine appeals the ruling because they have every right to. In 1957, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals They upheld the decision. So, you know what this means, right? We are headed to the Supreme Court. January 1958, the Supreme Court reversed the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling. Okay? Now, the ruling's a little bit convoluted, but follow me, okay? Follow me. Because first, they say, I'm going to need to refer you back to Roth v. United States, in which they said that obscene materials are not covered under the First Amendment. However, just because it refers to LGBTQIA subjects does not make it obscene. Meaning, a story about a lesbian giving up her boyfriend for her girlfriend does not make it obscene, lewd, or filthy. No, it really doesn't. No. A poem about cruising? No, doesn't make it obscene, filthy, or lewd. No. So, the postmaster for Los Angeles just had to get over himself. Yeah. I want you to understand how important this ruling was. We already talked about this being the first LGBTQIA plus case and the first one to address LGBTQIA plus free speech. But this case was occurring during the Lavender Scare, which was happening during the Red Scare, McCarthyism. McCarthy was trying to rid the government of both communists and LGBTQIA plus individuals and blacks, all at the same time. Across the country, LGBTQIA plus people were in hiding, essentially. If you were femme or mask presenting, you had to wear 2 or 3 articles of clothing of your gender or risk being arrested. Transgender individuals were being targeted for arrest for simply being themselves. If you were seen with the same sex too often, it raised suspicion. If you were single for too long, it raised suspicion. If you were a man who lived with your mother, it raised suspicion. If you were a man who wore pink or a woman who was good with cars, it raised suspicion. Yet during this time, the Supreme Court said just because it was related to the LGBTQIA plus community does not make it obscene, and they have a right to free speech. Considering this country and the time that it was, that was groundbreaking.